Let me be direct with you. The fantasy of dating a younger woman has been sold to men for generations. It is the trophy, the prize, the validation that you have still got it, that you are still relevant, that you can still pull what the younger men are pulling. It is the dream of escaping the weight of your own life, of feeling young again, of having someone who looks at you with fresh eyes and does not carry the baggage of your past. But the Stoics understood something that most men never learn until it is too late. The things we chase most desperately are often the very things that end up controlling us. And the fantasy of the younger woman is one of the most dangerous illusions a man can fall for. The philosopher Epictetus taught that we should not seek to have events happen as we wish, but to wish them to happen as they do happen. When you chase a fantasy, you are not accepting reality. You are fighting it. And that fight never ends well for you. People have this idea when they approach dating. A lot of men dream of the younger woman where they think there is less expectation. They imagine she is all fun, all good times, all sugar and spice and everything nice. They picture a relationship with no pressure, no nagging, no emotional weight. Just pure enjoyment. And the truth is, the expectations are not gone. They are delayed. Women are inherently creatures of expectation and desire. So are men. It just takes a different form. But women are never choosing you just for the product you are now. They date with the intent of the future you will provide, how that looks, how that appears, everything like that. A lot of men will date younger women to avoid the reality of their life. They want to feel younger, escape responsibility, feel young again. All these things just combined in different words and ways. But the truth is, when you date a younger woman, it is not all fun and games. It is probably a little bit of fun. But when you date a woman who is more aligned with you, more your age aligned, you get stability. And people think, oh, dating a younger person is excitement. It is not really excitement. It is just as predictable as dating an older woman. And these women will get older. Except it is delayed. And the illusion of excitement that young people have is just predictability, but of youth. The predictability is chaos. And even that follows a form, the same way that the nagging older woman does, or whatever you want to call it. So initially, you might start dating a younger woman and thinking, oh, this is great. And then you find yourself a few months in. It is girls' trips. It is checking Instagram stories when you should be sleeping at 1 in the morning, and you have work the next day. And she works a part-time job at the coffee shop and does not care. And this is not all young girls, but this is kind of a theme that follows in people's heads and online. It is exciting for a time. And it does allow you to kind of escape a version of your life that you are in. But it is not going to make you as happy as you think it is. It is not the prize that you think it is. The Stoic philosopher Seneca understood this kind of illusion. He wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The fantasy of the younger woman is an imagination. It is a projection of what you think will make you happy. But the reality is often very different. The reality is that you are dating someone who is not in the same life stage as you. The reality is that you are trying to build a life with someone who has not yet built their own. The reality is that you are looking for alignment with someone who has not yet figured out who they are. And that is not a criticism of younger women. It is simply a fact of life. There are some things you only learn through years, through time passing. When you turn 30, when you turn 40, there are just some things that you can never learn before it is time to learn them. That is just the way of the world. I really would encourage people. I think the best age gap is about 2 to 7 years max. There are studies to back this up. The most successful age range of dating and marriage success is between 2 and 7 years. And people go into these relationships thinking that dating a younger woman is going to lead to a happier marriage. Tons of sex, tons of fun, a hot woman. Sure, you have a trophy, but you have no alignment. And eventually it is like, I am talking to a brick wall. And it is not because they are stupid, it is because they are in a different stage of life. You make a joke. A successful relationship is all about making little jokes, remarks. Look, there is that cereal that I used to eat growing up. There is that cartoon I used to love growing up. And they are like, I watched Drake and Josh, or Bluey. These days, if they are saying that, the FBI are coming for you. But anyways, you end up just finding that you cannot relate. There is no substance beyond do you want a trophy or do you want alignment. Many people want a trophy. That is fine. To each their own. But if you really want life to have meaning, life is all about having someone to get you through the hard times. A relationship is an endless conversation with another person to make a witness to your life, to make life feel less lonely, to make it feel easier. A much younger person than you is not going to be that. Rarely. I do not care how mature they are. They have not lived enough life. They are not in the same life stage as you. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire and faced unimaginable challenges, wrote that a man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. When you choose a partner based on a trophy, you are revealing what you truly value. You are showing that you value appearances over depth, status over connection, validation over peace, and that choice will come back to haunt you. Because eventually, the trophy loses its shine. Eventually, the novelty wears off. Eventually, you are left with the person, and if you did not choose them for who they are, you will be left with nothing but regret. Epictetus taught that no great thing is created suddenly, and a great relationship is no exception. It is built through the accumulation of shared experiences, shared values, shared struggles. It is built through years of navigating life together. And you simply cannot build that with someone who is not in the same place as you. Before you fantasize and go out and find yourself a young thing to run around with and take Instagram pictures with, I know it seems like the goal. A bunch of rich men make it out to be the goal. But it is not. What you want is peace. You want the person who is there for you, who you have fun with, who does not nag you. You can find that at any age. There are nags. A lot of these young women are psychotic. They are all on antidepressants. I think, what is it? Like 7 in 10 women are on antidepressants. I do not know. It is probably like 1 in 10, 2 in 10. And you know what? Age does not really change that. That is kind of just a lot of the female nature is mental instability. Living in their head. That is why they all have autoimmune diseases. I know when I was getting a little bit more neurotic, I felt like I had an autoimmune disease forming. That is besides the point. But you have to find a woman that brings you peace. That is pretty to look at, and build a life with them. Do not follow this online red pill stuff that makes you think you are not a man if you do not have a younger woman. A younger woman is going to soften the bluntness of life and make everything better, and you wake up seeing rainbows and she is cooking eggs and stuff. It is not going to happen. These young women cannot cook for one, and they keep you up all night scrolling TikTok. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote that a man must discover an art with respect to giving his assent. In other words, we must learn when to say yes and when to say no, not just to others, but to our own impulses. When you chase a younger woman, you are saying yes to an impulse. You are saying yes to the fantasy. But you are saying no to the deeper truth of what you actually need. You are saying no to the kind of connection that will last. You are saying no to the peace that comes from being with someone who truly understands you, and that is a decision you will regret. The philosopher Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And chasing a fantasy is one of the biggest wastes of time there is. It takes you away from what is real. It takes you away from what is possible. And it leaves you with nothing but the memory of a fantasy that was never really there. I think this is a case for dating a woman who is more aligned with you. A woman who possesses empathy, wisdom, some mothering abilities. Believe it or not, people want to be mothered. People want to be fathered. It feels good. People call it toxic, but we all want to feel taken care of and safe. It is really just, can your inner child take care of their inner child and make them feel seen and have fun and enjoy life together? You do not want someone you grow old with. You want someone you stay young forever with. And I think dating someone younger is people's attempt of grasping that, but in all the wrong ways. The Stoics understood that true peace comes from within. It does not come from external circumstances. It does not come from a younger partner. It does not come from a trophy or a fantasy. It comes from knowing yourself. It comes from accepting your life as it is. It comes from building something real with someone who sees you and loves you for who you are. So, let me ask you this. Have you dated younger? Did you feel that it was the right move? Will you continue to date younger? Or did you do it and you were like, never again? This is not all it is cracked up to be. Or do you date older? Do you like dating women your own age? Or are you a woman? Have you found this true? Do you like dating older men? Do you like dating men your age? What have you found? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your thoughts about dating, about relationships, about what you want and need, they will color everything. If you think a younger woman is the answer, you will see the world through that lens. You will ignore the signs that it is not working. You will push through the misalignment. You will convince yourself that it is fine. But your soul will be dyed with the color of that delusion. And eventually, that color will fade, and you will be left with the truth. The truth is that peace is what you want. Alignment is what you need. And you can find that at any age, if you are willing to look for it. The Stoics also believed that we should accept our place in the natural order of things. And there is a natural order to relationships. People are meant to be with people who are in similar stages of life, who share similar values, who have similar experiences. That does not mean age gaps cannot work. There are exceptions. There always are. But the Stoic does not build his life on exceptions. He builds it on what is most likely to lead to peace and fulfillment. And what is most likely to lead to peace is alignment. What is most likely to lead to fulfillment is someone who gets you, who has lived enough life to understand you, who is not learning how to be an adult while you are trying to enjoy the fruits of your adulthood. That is not a recipe for happiness. That is a recipe for frustration. I think we need to be honest about this. A lot of men chase younger women because they are insecure. They want validation. They want to prove that they still have it. They want to feel like they are not aging, like they are not losing their edge. But the Stoic knows that fighting time is a losing battle. You will age. You will lose your edge. You will slow down. That is not a failure. That is life. And the person who loves you should love you through that, not in spite of it. Seneca wrote that the greatest cure for the mind is trust in the one who is advising. When you trust your own judgment, when you trust your own values, you do not need to seek validation from a younger partner. You do not need to prove anything. You can simply be. And in that being, you will find peace. So, before you go out and chase the fantasy, I would encourage you to stop and ask yourself why. Why do you want a younger woman? Is it because you genuinely connect with her? Is it because you share values and interests and a vision for the future? Or is it because you want to feel young? Because you want to escape? Because you want a trophy? The answers to those questions will tell you everything you need to know. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote that we should not be upset by what we do not have, but rejoice in what we do. Rejoice in the life you have built. Rejoice in the person you have become. Rejoice in the wisdom you have earned. And find someone who can rejoice with you, not someone who is still learning how to build a life of her own. There is a reason why the most successful marriages are between people who are close in age. There is a reason why alignment matters more than novelty. Because life is hard. And when life gets hard, you need someone who understands. You need someone who has been there. You need someone who can hold your hand and say, I know. I have been there too. A younger woman might not be able to say that. She might want to. She might try. But she cannot give you what she does not have. And that is not her fault. It is just the way it is. The Stoics understood that we must accept reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. And the reality is that a relationship with a much younger woman is often more work than it is worth. The reality is that alignment matters more than attraction. The reality is that peace is better than excitement. And the reality is that you can find all of that with someone who is your age if you are willing to look. Let us talk about the internet for a moment. There is a lot of content out there that tells men they need a younger woman. It tells them that a younger woman is the ultimate prize. It tells them that if they are not dating younger, they are failing as men. And that is nonsense. That is noise. That is the sound of people trying to sell you something. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote that the mind that is disturbed by the complaints of the crowd is not yet free. If you are letting the internet tell you who to date, you are not free. You are a prisoner of other people's opinions. And that is no way to live. Choose for yourself. Choose based on what you truly want. Choose based on what brings you peace. Not based on what some influencer told you. Not based on what society says you should want. Choose based on your own values. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who has to live with your choice. And if you chose it for the wrong reasons, you will be the one who suffers. I want you to take a moment and think about the women who have truly made a difference in your life. Were they young? Were they fun? Were they exciting? Or were they wise? Were they steady? Were they there for you when things got hard? The answer, I suspect, is the latter. Because the women who truly matter are the ones who see you, the ones who know you, the ones who love you for who you are, not for who you could be. And those women are not defined by their age. They are defined by their character. And that is what you should be looking for. Character, alignment, peace. Those are the things that make a relationship work. Not age, not novelty, not a trophy. Character, alignment, peace. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote that it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments concerning them. The event is that you are aging. The judgment is that this is bad, that you are losing value, that you need a younger woman to prove you still have worth. That judgment is the source of your suffering, not the aging itself. The judgment that you are not enough without a younger partner. That is a judgment you can change. You can choose to see your age as a gift. You can choose to see your experience as an advantage. You can choose to see yourself as worthy of love, regardless of who you are dating. And when you make that shift, the obsession with age will fall away. You will be free. And that freedom is the greatest prize of all. So, I will leave you with this. There is nothing wrong with dating a younger woman if that is genuinely what you want. But be honest with yourself about why you want it. Be honest about what you are looking for. And be honest about whether you are chasing a fantasy or building a reality. Because the Stoics knew that the truth will set you free. But first, it will make you uncomfortable. And that is okay. That is part of the process. That is part of becoming a man who knows what he wants and is not afraid to go after it, even if it is not what everyone else is chasing. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.